Greetings, everyone. My name is Winnie Green, and my briefing today will be about servant leadership. To serve or not to be served. This argument actually limits true attributes of what true servant leadership or servanthood is. As for leaders, coaches, parents, managers, business owners, anyone in any place of leadership, in order to be a great leader, you must serve well. You're trying to move towards growth, success, and productivity, you have to be able to serve well. Servant leadership is a model. This model, if we look at servant leadership as a tool rather than depicted by one's authority, their position, or power, we would definitely miss the many benefits that leadership could present and provide to any business or organization. So to serve or to be served, which is greater? I'm sure we're going to all say servant leadership. Absolutely. And I will show you how to navigate and move towards success by following this simple model. First, we have to understand what servant leadership is and what it entails. Also, we have to learn how to effectively lead while serving. And the last thing we will discuss is how to cultivate and develop those that we're leading. So what is servant leadership? What does it really entail? One of my favorite uh, instances that I would like to use is in the Bible. We see this where Jesus, a person that was already great, power, position, and authority, steps down, humbles himself to a low place, a place where we think servants or pheasants would go, and he began himself to wash the disciples' feet. Now, there's a lot that we can take from that, and we'll pull out of servant leadership. What is it? Is a place of humility, a place of humbleness, that we're not too great or too high-minded, that we don't mind rolling up our sleeves, getting dirty to get the job or the work done. Another thing that we can pull from servant leadership is serving, humility, and building character. Now, as we see, we already know that Jesus, the name itself, he was already great. That didn't make who he was. It is the life that he lived throughout that time. So, servant leadership, we're servant leadership. You're a leader outside of just being at work on the clock, 8 to 5 job, right? Or just being when the kids are at the house. Your role or your position or authority don't change because of who's present and who's not. Be confident and secure in who you are, in season, out of season, when it's cool or when it's not. One thing about servant leadership is you're always under the microscope. You're always on the spotlight. And a lot of people forget that you're just as human as the rest and you face different things like the rest. But they want to know, are you able to balance and maintain security even, when things are coming all that against you? So you have to demonstrate vision and insights and build up that character. How do you know that you are a servant leader? By your character. There's two types of leaders. There's ones that are chiefs and ones that lead. We know what a chief is. They tell you go do, go do, go do, right? Servant leaderships, they look at, instead of dictating like a chief would do, they look at those that they're in leadership around and consider more of a partnership. Okay? That goes much further than you saying to do. And a lot of times, those are people around us, they're watching to see, okay, is she going to do it? Will she put in that time in? Or will she invest as much as of the time that she's wanting from me? So servant leadership is not only getting dirty, putting the time in, but living a lifestyle or a work ethic that and meeting the bar as you're expecting those around you to as well meet. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is how to, as for servant leaders, also the how to serve, lead while serving. Okay, we find out what it is and how it is, but how do you do that? Well, one of the great ways is having effective communication. A lot of times we think that's me telling you what to do. Effective communication is also having great listening skills. Okay, and we'll find out that in listening in itself, it provides some substantial resources. Which substantial, not resources. Let's change that. It'll provide some substantial results. You build up confidence in the individual, right? You build up a place of peace and resolution and understanding, that you're not always dictating or having to be in control. It doesn't mean you lose your control. It means you're step back and you're being now more observant to see and come and formulate a better conclusion from the analysis that you have built based on what you just watched. Okay. Another thing is being humble and submitting yourself. One of my favorite scriptures I would quote out of the Bible's of Proverbs. It says, "When the right person is in place, the people rejoice." People are happy when they have a good leader in place. They want to go to work. They're going to they show up on time. It shows in the morale of the company from the front end of the house to the back of the house. You have the wrong person or a bad leader in place, is felt in that vibration is felt from the front of the house to the back of the house. You have folks that want to come to work. They're not consistent with showing up on time or having attitudes. So again, remember that what you see is a lot of times resemblance or a reflection of who you are as a leadership. So again, we're not in the dictator. Servant leaders are not dictators. We more so look at a partnership that we join forces and unions together. Lastly, we'll talk about is for servant leadership is go and cultivate and teach those. A lot of times servant leaders or leaders find it intimidating, I'll say that, to want to invest into someone else because they're afraid that they may take their position or lose the position or I give you too much information. But there are great rewards and there are great joys and out of just receiving teaching someone, one thing that we hear a lot of times is if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a day. I mean, for a lifetime. So not only did you teach him how to fish, so he got a skill, but then he also has something for a lifetime, something that is just invaluable. You couldn't put a price tag or a payment on it, right? So servant leadership puts a person in a position of just definite, indefinite success. And that's what we're supposed to do, that we help people grow and be better, not just for my need or my personal intentions, but for the wellness of your holistic well-being. Okay, so servant leadership. North Court, Northcutt said a quote, and I really thought this was great. She said, "Many leaders teach people or want people to think highly of them. Many leaders, their goal is to have people think highly of them." She said, but a great leader goal is to have people think more highly of themselves. So, servant leadership, they're not in business for business. Their business is people, right? And just whatever business you're connected or tied with, they just reap the benefits of who you truly are. So, never feel intimidated about that. So, as a servant leader, focus primarily on growth. Our primary um, issue or our primary concern is the growth and the well-beings of others. Here it is. Matthew tells us that go ye therefore and teach and make disciples. There's a nonprofit group called Each One, Reach One, and Teach One. So we're assigned. We are all commissioned, no matter if you are a ministry or if you're a coach, you're a parent. We are charged to get educated and then go and educate someone else. Okay, servant leadership must do three things, and that's possess good character, effectively lead, and teach others to lead. If you invest in someone else, you'll definitely reap the benefits. Never feel threatened by teaching others or giving others a place of authority or training and developing them. Know who you are. Be confident in you and who you are. And I guarantee you'll just be set up for success. So again, in my closing, the foundation has been set and the model has been laid. If you follow this out, I promise you that you, your business, your organization, or whatever you're in control of will lead you into great success. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a great day.